last season and this season without Patrick Ewing in the lineup.
And that's the thing that fuels speculation that the New York Knicks are much better without Patrick Ewing in the lineup, and that small ball favors the Knicks, and the Indiana Pacers can't handle speed.
Balderdash. You never have too many good ball players out there. But the Knicks have to go with what they have. Make no excuses. Bring their game.
Balderdash, that's a new word.
That's a good one. Here's the lob into Smith, who had the great start to game 3. And the Pacers, plagued by turnovers in that game, turn it over their first possession in game 4. Here's Larry Johnson without Ewing. He's the primary post-up player, and he drives baseline for the reverse.
Now that drive is there for him every single time because Davis is shading toward the middle of the floor.
Larry Johnson going quickly that time. Normally he waits, caught Dale Davis unprepared, off guard.
Now, the Knicks' chore is to keep the Indiana Pacers, a good perimeter team, out on the perimeter. Number 14 will get whistled for his first foul.
Chris Dudley.
2 post-entry passes to Smith, both of them too far out in front of him. You got to bring the ball to the man.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what sitters always need, something brought to them.
We've noticed that a lot in our travels with our center. Reggie Miller off the screen, firing no good. And Charlie Ward picks it up for New York. Sprewell looks to be moving pretty well, too. He was flying down the court in front of us. Here is Sprewell.
Well, you know, Sprewell said yesterday, I don't care what the doctor said, I'm playing. I'm going to be here for my guys. Now, how effective he's going to be, we'll find out, but he had already determined he was going to play.
In the old days, they didn't even have MRIs. He said, look, if it hurts, just go out there and play until you can't play anymore. That's the position Sprewell's in right now.
Mark Jackson, his post-up game, not much in evidence in game 3, primarily because Rick Smits had the inside his own way. He posts up Charlie Ward and gets a foul on Ward, number 1.
You rarely see Mark Jackson turn and face. He has the back-to-the-basket game. And he turns his turn-and-face move into a back-to-the-basket jump hook, and Charlie Ward, a little bit of body contact, incidental.
Mark Jackson, the former Knick, Rookie of the Year in a Knicks uniform, and played his collegiate basketball at St. John's.
Also one of the players who attended Malik Sealy's funeral at the start of that long Memorial Day weekend. Mark Jackson had recruited Malik Sealy out of high school to come and carry on the tradition for the Redmen after Mark graduated.
His 2 free throws tie the game at 2.
The 2 primary scorers, Houston and Sprewell, have to have the same kind of games, a quick shot and a foul on Reggie Miller.
Houston outplayed Miller in game 3, and here early draws a foul from Reggie.
Played him on his way to the bench. Reggie Miller keeping those hands in there. Generally, as an offensive force like Houston, when you see a player leaning, reaching with his hands, throw the ball into him, extend into your shot, you'll get a trip to the line.
Houston normally pretty automatic at the free throw line, 84% in the regular season.
A lack of turnovers, 0 turnovers in game 3 for Allen Houston. Van Gundy telling us that will be critical today because the Knicks rarely out-rebound an opponent and need to keep their turnovers down to offset that rebound deficit.
What Jackson and the Indiana Pacers have to do is avoid the pressure as Miller gets 3 of Charlie Ward, Chris Childs on the ball. That's where they got a lot of turnovers in game 3.
Reggie Miller using a double screen to launch that 3. In game 3, Houston outscored Miller 28-19. Here's Larry Johnson. And a foul again out on the floor. This one on Dale Davis.
Reggie Miller is a guy that knows how to work without the ball, and he's going to finally find room. He came out early to make sure that these things were going to be true to the mark, because he's not going to be sitting down in this ball game.
What is a moving screen?
Well, like that. There's one. Thank you. Right on cue. Did you and Mike Mathis orchestrate that? Chris Dudley called for his 2nd foul, and when he's picking them up on the offensive end, that's not good. perfect textbook example of a moving screen.
Sliding around, and that's going to get Kurt Thomas into the ball game. Dudley was very good for them in game 3, and they're going to need him and all of his fouls in this ball game.
Let me mark this day now. Steve Jones saying nice things about Chris Dudley.
Jalen Rose, they need to get him started earlier. Had a terrific fourth quarter. Not much in the first 3. Mark Jackson, three-pointer, no good. Allen Houston didn't have a rebound in game 3. Pulls this one down. Thomas.
Kurt Thomas will make that shot. He can get you a double-double as long as he gets the minutes. As long as he stays out of foul trouble. He has to play his game as a star now, no longer a role player, Kurt Thomas.
Back in his days at TCU, Kurt Thomas, as Rose misses, had an offensive board. Kurt Thomas led the nation both in rebounding and in scoring. Only the third player to do that. Miller misfiring a 3. Larry Johnson gives it up to Ward.
The Pacers are going to try to win this game deep. They have taken 4 3-pointers already early in the ball game.
Thomas.
Charlie Ward. You can't keep him off the glass. Too quick, too explosive.
We have to put him at center after the shot block on Smits. And now the offensive putback for Charlie Ward. Every time there's a hustle play, you'll see number 21. Miller missing a 3. And Ward the rebound.
Get running here. Attack if you're Latrell Sprewell. Nice passing.
Thomas has to kick it back outside. Look at the move by Houston. Gorgeous move. Reggie Miller right back. Good.
Miller is going to be aggressive, and he is shooting almost every time he gets it. So that means you're going to have to defend him anywhere out on the floor. And if you're Allen Houston, you got to continue to attack, take the sting out by getting some fouls on him.
What has happened to the Pacers' interior defense? They used to be very good at that.
Johnson for 3.
The inability of the Pacers to defend off the dribble. Sprewell or Houston attack, but everybody else has to rotate. They're a step late. That gives wide open threes to Johnson and everyone else.
Knicks have their biggest lead. Dale Davis turning on Kurt Thomas. Pretty move by Dale Davis. His first basket. The lead is 3.
Maybe the best offensive sequence for both teams combined at any point throughout the series.
Good drive, Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward now with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist.
They wouldn't let him come across the middle. He made a quick decision, went hard to the baseline. Nice change of hands and pressure on Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, he needs to pay more attention to Charlie Ward. He's given him an offensive rebound, a dribble drive penetration.
Rick Smith, his first shot of the game, falls off on the floor, picked up by New York momentarily. Then Jackson had it and saves it to Davis. Here's Miller behind the 3-point line. It's good.
Not today. Not today. He's not going to go down without his blazing. 8 1/4 for Reggie Miller. 2 3-point field goals. Van Gundy wants to have a talk.
3 of 6 shooting for Reggie Miller. Embarrassed perhaps by watching the final minutes of game 3 from the Indiana bench. He comes out firing today, hitting 3 of his first 6 shots, and there's a 3-pointer down. He has 8. Indiana within 2. Van Gundy holding the lead. Early, one of only 32 that have scored over 2,000 points, not to make the finals, and Reggie's felt all along that the road to the finals for Indiana would go through New York.
Chicago had to get by Detroit. Detroit had to get by Boston. There's teams that you've got to get by in the conference finals to move on to the finals. And New York is that team for us. We faced them, I believe, 2 times now in the conference finals, and they stung us both times. So, you know, personally, I know a lot of guys in the locker room were looking for Miami to come out of the semifinals, but I was looking for New York because you need to exercise somewhat of those demons to help prepare you if you are going to move on for the finals.
And here is a holding foul on Mark Jackson.
Very difficult to pick your opponents pretty much have to wait for him. Reggie has not come out waiting at all. He's set a blistering pace, 3 for 6 shooting, but it's New York, 6 for 8, 75%. Sprewell makes it even better.
Sprewell splitting defenders to the rim for the jam, his first basket.
Shot blocking, that's one thing that Dale Davis can do, but it appeared that he's not going to step in on that kind of a hammer by Sprewell.
Miller forced that one up, blocked by Thomas. Here's the outlet to Houston. 3-on-3 break. Thomas got it.
The Knicks running, using their defense. No people feeling like victims around here for New York.
Now, Indiana's used to playing against a team that gets up and down. They did very well against the Milwaukee Bucks, but they've got to start getting the ball to the rim themselves. Miller again from outside.
Long two is no good. Sprewell has it.
Big men running the floor. Larry Johnson, Kurt Thomas creating opportunities for others.
Thomas, ball fake, got Smits in the air. Now Sprewell challenging the big man and goes glass over Rick Smits.
He did not even see the basket. Smits was just smothering him.
New York has hit 9 of their first 11 shots, 82%. Jalen Rose.
And the points in the paint continue to be dominated by the Knicks. They're off again.
Well, they got 5 guys in white trying to run the floor, and they get the ball to Thomas and another 2 inside. Larry Bird stands up and says, guys, we got to talk.
The New York Knicks beating the Pacers down court time and again, getting the high percentage looks. They've scored 8 in a row, and they're blistering the nets at over 80% shooting in this first quarter. Latrell Sprewell hammers one home, and the New York onslaught continues. 83% shooting. They've hit 10 of their first 17 with high percentage shots like that one by Kurt Thomas and Latrell Sprewell.
Up the court in transition, Larry Johnson seeing it all happen. The Pacer big men are not getting back. All New York midway through the first quarter.
The Rocket Clemens, that's what the Knicks are looking for, a championship ring. The New York Yankees got their World Series championship rings at Yankee Stadium today, and Clemens locked up in that classic pitching duel with Pedro Martinez of the Red Sox last night. The Rocket giving up the Trot-Nixon home run in the ninth and losing the game, but it was one to remember.
Trying to get something inside, and they finally get a lob pass that Smith can catch and complete.
And that breaks the 8-0 New York run. And Smits was very good for the Pacers to begin game 3, but hasn't had many opportunities here in game 4.
The Pacers haven't established anything yet. Smits only got 2. He had 21 in the big first half game 3. Now the illegal defense against Indiana.
Now Rick Smith said, I'm the guy, I'm guilty of being illegal, but they're trying to make sure that they react to the ball and do a better job of closing down the lane. You see the second half of Rick Smith almost missing in action.
Missed a golden backdoor opportunity for Allen Houston.
Houston shooting over Miller, no good. And Dale Davis hands off to Jackson. First rebound for Davis, who had 16 in game 3.
The battle off the ball, Houston and Reggie Miller. Beautiful.
Smits got a screen from Davis and put in his second in a row. Looks like Larry Bird's strategy was said, let's go back to the big fella who was so good to begin game 3.
But as long as they're making Smits try to beat them from outside, the small team of the Knicks is going to be okay, but they got to keep driving the ball. They can't become perimeter. Second one has popped out.
And Charlie Ward is all over the offensive glass again. Mark Jackson is standing around watching.
And it's Ward steal.
Nice look away.
Johnson fumbled it or could have put it through.
You know, when Johnson's like this, he does not like to drive the ball. Makes a jumper.
Too easy the other way.
Well, he's come alive offensively. You know, so many times this Knick team, they rely on their great safety net, Patrick Ewing. This team is so aware now that they got to make it happen. Larry Johnson, 3 for 5, 7 first quarter points.
Miller looking inside for Smits. There's the entry pass, the double team. And a kick ball. And reset set the shot clock to 14 seconds.
Charlie Ward all over the offensive glass. When Mark Jackson does come out with it, unaware, because he's not blocking out Charlie Ward. And Ward able to get the steal.
Well, Ward has tremendously quick hands. Anytime you see him around the ball, or Jalen Rose look for his first shoot, you got to protect the ball.
Rose still has not been able to score. Sprewell is going to be blocked by Rose. Got it to Ward, and he hits a three. And that's the way the first quarter is gone for New York.
Great defense. Tough shots forced by the Pacers. The Knicks often running the ball movement. The Knicks are showing they're a superior defensive team, at least here in New York.
Reggie Miller slashing to the hoop.
Well, in this series, the New York Knicks are shooting the higher percentage of the two teams because Indiana had that terrible game, too, where they only shot 36%.
They won that game. A game that the Knicks outplayed them.
Sprewell's fouled hard by Jalen Rose.
In order to prevent these guys from getting these kinds of opportunities, the Indiana Pacers are going to have to put more pressure on the ball. They're able to find open people, and it's hurting them. And this is one of the few times that Reggie and the Indiana Pacers have been able to get inside high percentage areas.
Sprewell misses the first. Log on to MSNBCSports.com. Click on Showtime Online for in-depth playoff coverage. Bill Walton previews every game, answers your emails, and check out analysis on the hottest playoff topics from Isaiah Thomas, Steve Jones, and Matt Gukas, and exclusive multimedia features from Hannah Storm and Peter Vesey. MSNBCSports.com, official website of NBC Sports, as Marcus Camby makes his first appearance in the New York lineup after going out in the second quarter of Game 3 with a knee injury.
Travis Best in the ball game, and it looks like Larry Bird is going to go for a sprint player and somebody that can strike quickly in Travis Best instead of control with Mark Jackson.
Well, so hot right now. Can he sustain that? Will the pain get worse in that fractured foot?
Travis Best with a shot, and Camby up to gather the rebound.
What timing, but does not have a smooth gait.
Charlie Ward with a great pass to LJ.
Whose idea was it to feature him in the pregame show? Marcus Camby with the block.
But a foul. Apparently, let's see.
They call a foul on, I think,
Charlie Ward down the lane. No pressure. Travis Best is backing up, backing up. The big guys for Larry Bird are not running whatsoever. And then Marcus Camby comes with the beautiful over-the-top block. Hard to see where that foul came from.
Yeah, the Knicks fans, this is the kind of ball that they've been dying to see the entire season, and they have turned the hounds loose here in the first quarter of play, and they are biting the Pacers.
The Hounds?
That's right, they're biting them.
Austin Crozier is in for Indiana. His series has been well chronicled. He began with 22 points in Game 1. It sunk to 5 in Game 2 and registered 3 on Saturday.
Minus Rick Smith. This is a quicker team that Larry Bird has out on the floor, and I think he's trying to match quickness with quickness now to see if he can slow down the New York juggernaut.
Better get somebody playing some interior defense and transition defense for Indiana.
LJ to Camby, and one.
And Marcus is really struggling with that leg. Beautiful pass. Larry Johnson playing as well as he's ever played. The passing, the shooting, drawing a double team. Austin Crozier has not shown the ability to guard Larry Johnson single-handedly. That double team frees up guys. Larry Johnson playing the way he played when he was leading Jerry Tarkanian's UNLV Rebels to an NCAA championship many years ago.
Camby, the three-point play in the final seconds of the first quarter. New York enjoying its biggest lead, up 33-19.
It's got to be heartbreaking for Larry Bird.
Well, there's a lot of game left, and we know that the Knicks are, if they don't continue to sustain this style, that they can fall back and let the Indiana Pacers in this game. Their job is to continue to be aggressive. Ward tried to force the pass, couldn't get it done.
In fact, handling prosperity is one of the Knicks' problems traditionally. And Indiana holds for the final shot here.
But, you know, their job with this game is to get into the series and put some doubt in the Indiana Pacers' mind that they can win the series.
Rose, pull up, and Houston rebounds as the first quarter ends. And the Hounds are on the scent. New York hitting 78% in the first quarter and out-rebounding Indiana 13-5, taking a 33-19 lead.
Always, all games, not just these, all games.
Not when they're up by 14. Hey, guys, by the way, Jeff Van Gundy spoke to the Wizard of Westwood, John Wooden, today, and the Wizard gave him a little bit of advice, but I also spoke to him, and he said to the Knicks shouldn't whine, don't complain, just play with the guys you have and give it your best. He said when he was a high school coach in South Bend, Indiana, as Austin Crozier hits a basket, when he was a coach in South Bend, Indiana, he had to go with all of his starters out of the game in the 1930s, and he played them best, but didn't quite win the game. Tom?
All right, Jim, well, the New York Knicks, depleted or not, are looking pretty good early here against the Indiana Pacers, but still 11 minutes left till halftime, and the Knicks have been known to blow some leads. Sam Perkins into the game, defending Larry Johnson, and Johnson's missing.
Well, what they don't want to do is allow the Indiana Pacers, who have a lot of offensive weapons, to start finding ways to get easy buckets in transition. And the Knicks and Larry Johnson, Allen Houston have to continue to drive the ball.
Johnson can't hit, or Houston can't hit that shot. Then a loose ball foul on the Knicks. Patrick Ewing watching from the New York bench. In case you missed it, he came out, been cleared to play, but as he warmed up, he saw that he could not go effectively and took himself out of the New York lineup.
Well, the big men now go Camby and Kurt Thomas as Larry Johnson comes out of the ball game, and Chris Childs replaces Charlie Ward.
Van Gundy's got a very difficult decision here. Marcus Camby picking up fouls, laboring, obviously with the bad leg. How long does he keep him out there?
Travis Best for three.
Well, what the Knicks don't want to become is a team that starts to slow down and relax. They have to stay aggressive, and they seem to be relaxing right now.
Come back with Latrell Sprewell then.
He's out there.
Give him the ball, let him shoot a couple times.
Without Patrick Ewing in that first quarter, the Knicks outscored the Pacers 20-6 in the paint, getting to the rim time and time again. We've got a timeout here, 9:55 left till halftime. New York 33, Indiana 24.
Wide open opportunities. Latrell Sprewell points in the paint. He is keying that attack. They've got 20 already, the New York Knicks.
Whenever the ball is doubled and there's a bad pass that sails out of bounds and an unforced turnover, that's when the New York Knicks have to keep those bodies moving in the direction of the hoop. They got to have cutters, and they got to see passes going in the direction of the basket, not around the perimeter.
Here's one of those New York droughts. They start the second quarter missing their two shots, turning it over twice, while the Pacers have scored 5 in a row.
Jeff Van Gundy telling us today as Reggie Miller pulls the trigger and gets them even closer. Referred to his team, Van Gundy did, as Knicks TMT. Knicks too much time.
13 points for Reggie Miller, and he's narrowed the lead to 6. It once was 14.
To probably help things out for the New York Knicks, Chris Childs also has to become a penetrator off the dribble. Almost another turnover, 5 on the clock for the Knicks.
With Reggie Miller moving beautifully without the ball, his game. How many bodies is he running off there? They're all 9 guys he avoids. Pinball wizard Reggie Miller steps back and drains it.
He has hit 3 of 5 from three-point range, 13 points.
Pacer defense appears to have stiffened.
Against the shot clock, Larry Johnson with his specialty, nailing a 3 with the seconds ticking down. Nobody does it better. Perkins with a screen. Childs managing to stay with Best. Here's Crozier. Offensive foul as Kurt Thomas takes the charge.
Now, Larry Johnson had just stepped in the ball game. He was probably the only Knick that knew how much time was on the clock. Let it go. All the fans are saying, "What's up, LJ?" And you see the results. 5 of 8 for Larry Johnson.
Plus 5 rebounds, and the leadership, the attack, it's all coming through Larry Johnson. Van Gundy telling us that Larry Johnson is their main low post weapon. In the absence of Ewing, Chris Childs has got to wake up there. LJ's got 2 assists as well.
And some nice signage as he makes his way back up court.
Now he's playing against Derek McKee, a very good defender, and he'll have a little bit tougher time beating his man off the dribble.
Thomas missing the shot. Crozier. Fans wanted a goaltend, but Crozier able to tap it. Travis Best gets it to Reggie Miller. Miller penetrates. Best fakes, drives.
Reggie's the only Pacer playing ball. You come into this building under these circumstances, you got to have 12 players playing. The jumper by Kurt Thomas. The fans want goaltending.
That one's off.
That's not goaltending.
Well off the hoop.
He pushed it back into the rim. It's like a tip.
Derek McKee turning the ball over. Indiana has turned it over 4 times, and New York now 5 turnovers in this first half.
Yeah, in that first quarter of play, they were basically free of turnovers, and now they're beginning to, unravel a taste, and that's allowing Indiana to stay in the game.
Knicks really have a bead on the plays. This is a zipper play that the Pacers run. A play that they used to run for Bird in Boston, coming up from the baseline.
Perkins.
5 on the clock.
Is fouled, a reach-in foul on Chris Childs, I believe. It's number 1 on Childs.
Perkins gets that ball in the low post. Kurt Thomas appears to have him well under control. No need for the double team to come down.
Miller against Sprewell. Fires it inside, and a Clemens fastball. McKee unable to handle.
Reggie shaking his head saying, why'd you flash the post if you're not going to be ready to catch the ball?
They had some mustard on it, though.
They wanted it in there hard and high. Hit him in the face. They'll learn to catch it soon.
Johnson passes out of the double team, and Kurt Thomas makes Indiana pay. Thomas, off the bench, replacing Dudley early, has 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Perkins lumbering to the basket. Crozier.
Good effort. He went back toward the middle, surprised the defense, and was able to still squeeze one off inside. So not going to be one of those donut days for Crozier.
Lumbering? That's called the hesitation move along the baseline.
Only one lumberer can recognize another. Sprewell for 3. And Best the board. Crozier 2 for 2 to start this game. Miller, did he travel? He backs up and misfires on his 3.
But if they're giving him any kind of daylight, as Sprewell's showing a little bit of limp in his gait right now, he's going to let it go.
Kurt Thomas is playing fabulous basketball in every aspect of the game.
6:17 left till halftime. New York still holds the upper hand. 30.
Time when Patrick Ewing does play. But in the opportunities that Kurt Thomas has created for himself here today, he has delivered for Jeff Van Gundy.
Ewing out, and then Dudley opened the door for Thomas by getting in early foul trouble. And Curtis hit 4 of his 6 shots, 8 points in 13 minutes.
Have the Pacers thought about not trying to get Dudley in foul trouble?
Sprewell out of the ball game. Allen Houston back in, misses with that quick shot.
New York, which always gets killed on the boards, they have doubled up the Pacers here. Larry Johnson with 5, Charlie Ward with 4. They by themselves have more rebounds than the entire Pacer team.
Perkins for 3. Crozier, the offensive rebound, gets it to Perkins, blocked by Camby, who takes it down and then chases it down and gives it up.
But that is one of the reasons that Crozier is in the ball game. He's one of those energetic, chase the ball kind of guys, and Larry Bird knows he's going to need some people despite Dale Davis.
LJ doubled on the low post. He comes to Houston, and he's rejected by Rose.
Jaden strutting around over there like he's really bringing it today. That's about the first thing I can remember him doing, with Austin Crozier delivering it to Sam Perkins. Marcus Camby quick off the floor.
5 on the clock.
Houston, and 1. Jalen Rose with a foul.
And it looks like in this quarter it's going to be against the clock for the New York Knicks, because that's where they're getting it done. When it seems as though they don't have a shot, they're making something out of nothing. Houston, a little fake, and Jalen Rose trying to get back to him, nicks him, so Houston has a chance for a three-point play.
Well, when you're playing defense against a great offensive player, you got to make a commitment as to which way you're going to force him. Allen Houston prefers to go left when he's facing the basket. You got to make him go right into the help and then hope and pray.
Houston completes the three-point play. He has a half dozen points, and New York is up 41-29.
Telling us before the game that his ankle's feeling immeasurably better.
Chris Childs with a hold of Jalen Rose.
You know, what's interesting is that, you know, the game changes for the New York Knicks when the guards change. When Charlie Ward comes in, they do a better job of pressuring the ball, and they do a better job of running the floor. Childs comes in, and it becomes a little bit more of a control game, and last year it was just the opposite.
Crozier sits as Rick Smits returns for Indiana.
It comes and goes with Ward and Childs. Some days one guy has nothing. Chris Childs playing with a severe case of the flu right now. Can't even speak.
Jalen Rose ducked under and had it blocked by Camby. Here's Childs in a hurry. The trailer Thomas is fouled by Travis Best.
But look at the Knicks flow up the court in unison. The dream is alive here. These fans who grew up watching the great team in the 70s with Frazier, DeBusschere, and Reed, and Bradley, and the team defense, the fast break.
Great reaction by Camby to get the break started, but this is a clear illustration of what good defense will do for offense, and the fact that everybody will run and get in an area where they can score when they know it's something cheap and easy.
And tomorrow night at prime time, more NBA Conference Final action coming your way. We'll go back to L.A. in the Western Conference Finals, Game 5, as Shaq and the Lakers try to take care of the Blazers. Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, prime time here on NBC.
Jeff Van Gundy's doing a brilliant job of using Camby in very short stints. Now they bring Sprewell back in. Hopefully his foot hasn't tightened up. Camby over there with a big sigh of relief that he got through another brief appearance.
Well, it's a big team in now for Indiana. McKee, Davis, and Smith up front.
Illegal defense called against the Knicks as Reggie Miller returns for Indiana, replacing Derek McKee.
You know, you got a striped shirt on, too. You're calling illegal defense over before the official.
I'm just the
I thought he was trying to
broadcaster.
karate chop you.
When does Jeff Van Gundy look happy?
When they win.
They're ahead by 14.
It's a long way from over. They got 28 minutes to play.
It looked like he had a bad lunch or something.
New York on a 10-2 run the last 4 minutes after Indiana has opened up the quarter by scoring 7 in a row. Mark Jackson posting Childs, and as he takes it up, Childs gets him on the arm. For Chris, his third foul.
Well, Charlie Ward has been a bigger thorn in their side here in New York, as Childs is going to have to come out of the ball game. What they do is let Mark Jackson initiate. They've got to go to him and take that away from him. If you're going to let Mark Jackson be a scorer, force him to make a quick decision. Don't let him pound you into the basket.
But Mark Jackson has not had the success. Chris Childs to the bench with those 3 personal fouls. Charlie Ward back in. Jackson, who was so dominant in the blowout game 1, the throwaway game for New York, has not had any sort of impact since that time. And when the Knicks can get away without having to double team Mark Jackson, that takes away the effectiveness of Jalen Rose, Reggie Miller, and their spot-up shooters, including Rick Smits.
43-31, New York has controlled this first half.
Baseline is open for Sprewell, but he's not going to go that way.
Thomas posting up Smith, and Rick Smits was all over him. Number 1.
Penalty situation, so Thomas will go to the line. You can see right there, Jalen Rose is overplaying the middle, and then Smith's coming across, trying to overplay, hooked and held, and Thomas, their free throw.
Here's a guy with 4 broken ankles in the early years of his career, 2 on each side. Tom, you mentioned earlier the year he led the nation in scoring and rebounding in college at TCU. He played with a broken left hand that year. It's been a tough physical go here for Kurt Thomas.
In the last year of his contract and making a bit of a statement in this game 4. He's hit all 4 of his free throws. He has 12 points off the New York bench.
The Knicks have not had to do a lot of this double and get themselves in a scramble situation, so Larry Johnson's able to hustle back in. Dale Davis.
Tough shot, Dale Davis. And he has 4.
The Knicks can live with that because that's not Indiana's game. If they're going to Dale Davis for 15-foot jumpers off 7 dribbles, how is Indiana going to win that way?
Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell now with 7 first-half points, playing with that broken bone in his foot.
Remarkable.
Well, it's remarkable, but again, they've got to have pressure on the basket. Charlie Ward is picking out all of those angles, and he's showing all of his quarterback skills here on this basketball floor.
Jackson's runner tapped no good by Davis. Davis got it again and pounded it home. And then Larry Johnson sends a volleyball spike.
And they get the delay of game warning. But these are the worst 2 offensive rebounding teams in the entire NBA. The Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Dead last. 2 teams that don't pound it on the offensive glass, but it's the determination of Dale Davis and Larry Johnson. Frustrated.
Charlie Ward, a quick 3, finds the bottom of the net. Charlie Ward in double figures, and once again he's doing everything for the New York Knicks. 10 points on 4 of 4 shooting, 4 rebounds, 3 assists.
And once again, the Knicks as a team are outworking the Pacers. Another illegal defense whistled by Mike Mathis.
Now, Kurt Thomas, and a painful look on Jeff Van Gundy. That's why he never looks happy, because he's a perfectionist. He wants everything all the time, and it will be a free throw. Reggie Miller.
And he rolls it through. 2:47 left till halftime. New York continues to lead Indiana 50-36. You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Shaq, at least try to take the game away from him. You come in and you stand around, you try to play a bang-bang game with that guy, you're going to get eaten alive. And that's what the Blazers have done.
Well, Portland may have to take a pace from game 2 and what the New York Knicks are doing, become a strict team and start attacking that rim and don't play out on the perimeter.
And you can see game 5 tomorrow night, prime time, 9 Eastern, here on NBC. That's tomorrow night at 9. 50-36, New York leads Indiana in game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals with 2:44 left till halftime. Mark Jackson had it stripped away. Here's Allen Houston racing against Miller. Pulls up and scores.
Kurt Thomas again, the help defense. Initially, he shut down Reggie Miller's cut to the basket. He leaned over. That denied the pass. And then when Jackson came down the lane, Thomas batted that away, allowing Allen Houston to play his game.
You know, the Knicks are becoming aggressive like they were in the 3rd quarter. Any ball that's available, they're trying to get their hands on it. Jackson. Nice try.
Jackson with the runner. And you saw the graphic, New York before the Jackson basket, enjoying their biggest lead of the 2000 playoffs. And can they avoid some of those letdowns we've seen from them in the past?
This was a team that we thought was decimated coming into today's performance. They're looking clearly the superior team as Sprewell continues the roll.
Does that look like a man that's got a broken foot, I ask you?
No. They might want to reread that MRI.
No, they better leave it the way it is. The attitude of Jeff Van Gundy, you heard his father speak and say, you know, you got 5, you got to play, and that's what he is making them do. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to find a way to be a factor in the ball game. Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose getting his first field goal, only his 3rd point of the first half. That's after he went off in the 4th quarter in game 3, wound up with 26 points, 22 in that final period.
But Larry Bird was the first to admit that those were concession points, and the game was well out of hand. The final score not indicative of the Knicks' domination.
Houston for 3. Allen Houston has 11, and Charlie the ball where it needs to be. Final minute of the half.
The Pacers' decision-making defensively has left a lot to be desired.
Two to shoot. Davis. And Charlie Ward skies for the rebound. Charlie Ward has been amazing throughout the playoffs.
Larry Bird talked about the soft crowd. This crowd as hard as can be, as loud as it's been all year long here in New York.
The kick ball will recycle the shot clock to 14, which actually works in New York's favor here.
Well, it's an inspirational play that's given this crowd something to get involved in, and they're trying to show the Knicks they appreciate them and send them in with a big shot of energy.
What hasn't worked in New York's favor this half?
Sewell will hold for what he thinks will be the final shot, a quick one.
Kurt Thomas. And the Pacers have a chance to get the final shot of the half if they hurry. 2 seconds. Jackson had it knocked out of bounds as the first half comes to a close. New York shooting 67% in that first half, with the fast break points heavily in their favor, and getting Kurt Thomas with a tremendous contribution off the bench. And New York with 4 players in double figures, great balance, and the first half ends with the Knicks in command by 17. Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. 9 points for Latrell Sprewell. Latrell, how's your foot? And did they read that MRI right?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I figured once I get loose, it'll be okay. What can I say? I've been getting a lot of treatment. That's really helped me.
The pace of this game, you guys have been up and down the court. Can you continue that in the second half?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, we're really shooting the ball well. We're getting good quality shots. We're moving, looking for one another, and that's been the difference.
You're shooting 68%. Can you guys continue to get all those points in the paint, 26?
Well, we don't expect to shoot that well, but the one thing we can control is how we defend guys. So we're going to come out and keep trying to get steals and keep being aggressive on the offensive end.
Appreciate your time. Good luck in the second half. All right, Tom, back over to you.
Thank you, Jim Gray. Sprewell with 9 points at halftime. Larry Johnson 12, Houston 11, Ward 10, Kurt Thomas with 12, an all-round New York effort that's carried them to a...
Rick Carlisle, and he said that Larry Bird got after his team pretty good. He told the guys, you've been outplayed, you've been out-efforted, you've been out-intensified. Everything we've done, you've done poorly. We can only go one direction. You guys can pack it in and wait for Game 5, or you can go out and play. Mark Jackson said, guys, let's go out and get after him. Now, as for Jeff Van Gundy, he told me that it's a cliche in the NBA that a team has to make a run and get back in the game. I told the guys, let's break that cliche and let's perform the same way we did in the first half. Tom?
All right, Jim, a turnover fest to open the third quarter.
A series of turnovers and a quick foul results for Chris Dudley. Dudley's only been able to play 2 minutes due to foul problems.
And that's his third.
That's the worst strategy that the Pacers could utilize there. When Rick Spitz draws that foul, putting Dudley in jeopardy of having to go to the bench.
Jalen Rose for 3.
Well, the 3 ball is a strength of the Indiana Pacers. They started off that way, but long distance shooting will not be high percentage play, so the Knicks have got to continue to keep their energy up.
Houston and Miller away from the ball. Offensive foul.
Allen Houston tagged with his first foul.
Sometimes you put so much effort into getting the position exactly the way you want it. Reggie Miller's got him early, but Allen just keeps pushing him away from the basket.
So New York, 3 possessions, 3 turnovers to start the third quarter.
And they had 6 in the first 24 minutes total.
Dale Davis rams one down.
Jeff Van Gundy says enough. A horrendous start. Maybe Larry Bird's halftime speech had some sort of impact.
You're watching the NBA on NBC. Haven't scored in the third quarter, and the lead now is 12.
Well, all the New York Knicks have to do is remember Game 1 when they were down plus 20, and they rallied to get within 2 before they ran out of gas. They know that you can come back. A team can come back on you. They were going to have to play the same way they played early. Pretty well a miss.
But Dudley, the offensive rebound. Johnson measures a 3. And knocks it home. Or was it a 2? It was a 3. Three-pointer for LJ.
No hesitation whatsoever, and a fine kick-out pass by Chris Dudley, knowing where the stroke is.
His third three-pointer of the game, and the first bucket in the third quarter by New York after nearly 2 minutes had gone by. Smith right by Dudley. Take that.
What mobility.
We have seen 2 throwdowns from the big guys inside, so there's been some fire lit by Larry Bird, and it's a question of whether they can sustain it and control New York.
Larry Bird can light a fire now, I'm telling you that.
Well, the Pacer defense looks a little bit better here. Oh,
Steve Jabby saying, I pointed the wrong way. It's Indiana ball as Mark Jackson and Larry Johnson get tangled a bit.
Well, Rick Smith with a slow dance around Chris Dudley, but a thundering finish, and Van Gundy is saying, you can't do that.
Good extension by Rick Smith.
Dale Davis, entry pass to the low post with 5 to shoot. Boy, Larry Johnson did such a great job of blocking out the 7-footer Smith on that play.
Nice pass, Sprewell.
And Houston lost it right to Miller. 3-on-2 break for Indiana. Miller's pull up, no good.
That's the best shot you can get in a 3-on-2.
Not good, but Jalen Rose saves the day for Indiana, and then he scores. So give Rose credit. Hustling down court. Miller takes the shot. Rose rebounds it and gets his 8th point.
The Pacers are showing signs of life here. Showing signs of pride. And the Knicks get back into their running, slashing, open court game.
Charles Sprewell slashed but missed, and Dale Davis with a little message for Chris Dudley as he clears some space after hauling down the rebound. Davis with 16 rebounds in each of the first 3 games.
Well, realistically, you can't expect that the Knicks are going to shoot 68% for the game, so you know they're going to miss some shots. It's a question of whether the Indiana Pacers pick up theirs.
Beautiful. Now that is a great lead pass by Charlie Ward.
And it results in a foul on Jalen Rose as he prevented the layup by Allen Houston. Number 3 on Rose.
The team basketball. Dudley gathers in the air ball quickly to Charlie Ward, who rifles the cross-court 80-foot pass there. Jalen Rose, all he can do is hammer.
80?
You know anything about geometry? You haven't been studying the triangle offense and the distance of the hypotenuse?
80?
Well, game 5 in the East will be Wednesday night at Conseco Fieldhouse. It starts at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and you can see it in prime time here on NBC. We'll be packing up the tent and taking this road show to Indianapolis for game 5.
You know, they're nervous in Indy right now because they expected to come back with at least a 3-1 advantage. Smith and a foul against Dudley.
Rick Smith with a 3-point opportunity as Dudley picks up yet another foul, his 4th.
But that just means that Kurt Thomas is on his way back quickly into the game. The beautiful execution, fake one way, come back the other and get in the air. Outstanding balance, momentum created by exquisite footwork by Rick Smith.
And the free throw completes the 3-point play. Smith with 9 points as Thomas remains on the New York bench. And it's down to a 10-point New York lead.
Now, Reggie Miller was the only pacer in double figures at the break. The big guys weren't seeing the ball, and now they're dominating the scoring for the Pacers. Dudley.
Offensive board off the Johnson miss. Ward for 3.
Tom Hammond, don't tell anybody, but Charlie Ward has not missed a shot this afternoon.
Once again, Ward to the rescue, and he is indeed actually 7 of 8 snaps. We'll give him 1 miss earlier this quarter.
Timeout. Van Gundy will not tolerate players coming down the lane uncontested. This will not stand. Charlie Ward, shades of Earl Monroe, Dick Barnett, Walt Frazier stroking wide open jumpers. And the defense falls apart for New York, but Jalen Rose earns a trip to the line.
In early 20th century. Remember a moment ago when Dale Davis rebounded that Sprewell miss? Watch his elbows. Wang, Wong. Nobody in range, but it drew a warning from Steve Javy.
I understand, but what we got to do is we got to penalize you for that elbow if we do it, all right?
Wang Wong?
Well, I don't know where that came from, Bill.
How
It was because I was sitting next to you. That stuff just sort of bubbles to the surface.
Why do some players get warnings and other players get it called against them?
Well, probably because there's no contact, although I can't read Steve's mind.
Well, there was nobody around, and I'm sure Gabby is telling me, if there are players around, that's why you're going to get tagged.
He is tagged with a foul right there, trying to defend Larry Johnson.
With Larry Johnson showing absolutely no signs of hesitation. Sometimes the Knicks bog down when Johnson holds the ball too long, but he's going on the catch this evening.
8 on the clock for Houston.
Nice cut, Ward.
Couldn't finish it. Dudley tapped no good. Then back tap by Schmidt, but New York picks it up.
Jalen Rose is standing and watching. Chris Dudley has kept so many balls alive here in the third quarter.
Now, if Larry Johnson turns and faces, he's going to put a lot of pressure on Dale Davis.
That's a tough shot.
And a good one. How do you defend that?
In the first two games, Dale Davis was able to control Larry Johnson. That has turned around. He's given the Knicks a huge edge.
LJ 7 of 11, 17 points. And a foul on Dudley, number 5.
Well, actually, Larry Johnson got started in game 2 when Patrick Ewing went out. He knew he was going to get a chance to be more aggressive at the offensive end, and he had 25 in that game in Indiana, and he's continued on. Dudley out of the ball game, 5 fouls.
But the vast majority of that 25 was in the first half. Chris Dudley, who's just been dying to get some playing time, can't catch a break from the referees.
Now Kurt Thomas trying to defend 7'4" Rick Smits.
You put Charlie Ward on Rick. He lost that shot the other day.
Well, you put Charlie Ward on everybody today.
Well, if he keeps shooting from out there, Charlie Ward could guard it.
Stroke a 3, Charlie.
Charlie has not missed a 3, but he has missed some 2s, 3 of them now. But he is 3 for 3 from the arc. Well, remember when Kurt Thomas came into the first quarter, New York was 2 points down. They went on a 30-14 run. Thomas rebounds that miss.
And Charlie Ward was right there, a little finger near the eyeballs of Rick Smits, intimidating the shot. No movement now. This is where the Knicks get into trouble.
Johnson in desperation pitches it outside, and Ward, that's his first 3-point miss. Jackson chases it down for Indiana.
And that's the position the Knicks don't want to be in. They want to keep that ball movement, player movement up. Indiana wants to see them hold the ball and then have to play outside in.
But the Knicks need to package that first half. We haven't seen much of it here.
Pretty no-look pass from Jalen Rose finds Jackson cutting to the hoop. And Mark puts in his 8th point. And Indiana once again trying to make a run at the Knicks, down 11.
Tough for the Knicks to fast break out of the net. Nice cross court.
Ward's runner over Smith won't go down, and Davis another tough rebound.
Well, Charlie Ward has the right idea. Try to penetrate and try to create something. Tough shot that time. Tougher shot by Mark Jackson.
Rebounded by Johnson.
Knicks aren't running as explosively as they were in the first half. But who needs it?
Allen Houston.
Yeah, as long as you're making baskets, who needs it?
15 for Allen. In the first half, New York was really in a hurry, dominating the fast break points, doing their best impersonation of the 500 yesterday, up and down the court.
7 on the clock for Smith.
And Rick Smith.
You must have had a lot of time yesterday. Tom, you watched a baseball game, you watched an auto race, you watched I know I was with you when we watched a basketball game together.
Working all research.
Trying to get Sprewell started, and they haven't been able to get him the ball in a position where he could strike quickly. Jalen Rose fighting him with the clock.
3 to shoot. Johnson 1 to shoot. Got it away, but couldn't hit. And there's Davis again, a rebounding machine. He has 6 in this game after pulling down 16 each of the first 3. Smith missed a gimme.
Well, he rushed it. Didn't really know where the defense was. Kind of play it. In retrospect, you just pull it in and gather your balance and go up and throw it down.
Well, when you think about this third quarter, the front line has done all of the scoring. Jackson and Miller for Indiana, just 2 points between them. Larry Johnson trying to go baseline. Got it.
Real crowd, Smith and Davis jumping at him, and it didn't matter. Larry Johnson leads all scorers, as you see, with 19. Timeout at the 3:09 mark, third quarter of Game 4. Larry Johnson, the game's top scorer, and the Knicks with the lead. The NBA on NBC, the producers of Law and Order.
At the start of the show, we talked today about the difficult and length of the stride from becoming a role player to becoming the star player. Charlie Ward and Larry Johnson have made that giant step today. Charlie Ward, who's got 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists, working on a triple-double here, feeding Larry Johnson in transition. Larry Johnson's got 19 points, 7 boards. He leads both teams in both scoring and rebounding. Can they sustain it? Can they hold on? The fatigue, these are not guys who carry the squad for the full 48 minutes. Sprewell and Houston, Kurt Thomas need to come alive here to help Ward and Johnson.
Remember, Larry Johnson used to be a primary offensive player to get an offensive foul against Dale Davis at Charlotte. So he knows what it's like to be the #1 offensive priority.
But the health is not there. Larry Johnson plays with a severely debilitated back. Got a chip fracture in his foot that he's played with all year long. He's going to need surgery on that at the end of the season.
Bill, let me tell you, I got 19. There's 2:51 to go. I'm feeling good. All of that stuff does not count. Just let me have the ball and let me go.
Double fake. That shot no good, but LJ's also the leading rebounder in the game with 7. And Van Gundy says he's always his most prepared player.
But the way the Knicks are standing and watching Larry Johnson play right now is not a good sign. They need weak side action cutters.
The Indiana Pacers have to start playing like they're playing against the Milwaukee Bucks. Nice play. Jalen Rose 9 1/4, so he's starting to wake up like he did in the 4th in Game 3.
Just over 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
You know, Jeff Van Gundy said, look, we want to keep the Pacers in the 80s. We somehow want to get to the 90s. Sprewell just cannot make a hoop here in the second half.
Larry Bird cannot believe this call.
Dale Davis, with Kurt Thomas on his back, is called for the foul.
And Jalen Rose is becoming a bigger problem for Sprewell as this game goes along, bumping and bruising his way to the hoop. Nice right hand by Jalen Rose.
Was Sprewell unable to answer on the offensive end? Charlie Ward, even though he's played terrifically, he's got a shooting slump, just 1 for 6 here in the third quarter. He'll go out for a while.
Thomas with a screen for Houston. Back to him on the pick and roll. And Davis got a piece of it, and Crozier hauls it down.
Yeah, Kurt Thomas passed with a good chance to get an easy shot and ended up getting it deflected.
Seem to be in a fatigued state right now and hanging on, standing around, waiting for somebody else to do something.
Rose steps back, went halfway down before coming out. Houston driving on Miller, short.
Never quite had control of it, and he was trying to quick it out of his hands and hope that he got a call.
Miller off the screen, beat Houston to the spot and scored a 3. Vintage Reggie Miller.
Point of the second half for Reggie Miller. It is an 8-point game.
In the final minute of the third.
2-man game between Johnson and Houston, trying to get Larry Johnson wide open. A foul, Kurt Thomas.
Reggie Miller moving without the ball. The best part of his game, the great down screen by Dale Davis, pulling the trigger.
Hey, how about the best part of his game is the shot?
No, moving with he can make the shot. Can't make the shot when he starts dribbling. Jalen Rose is getting into it with someone in the crowd. Very disconcerting here. He's losing his focus.
Or maybe gaining it. Looks to me like he's come alive here in the third quarter. Now operating against Sprewell. Crozier the screen. 5 to shoot. Rose behind the back, missed the shot.
That's a move. That's the way Steve Jones used to play.
I only wish I had that. Only wish I had that.
Steve
kind of
finished them, though.
Oh, that was nice. And Marcus Camby's the guy that saved them. Sprewell holding the ball here and trying to get one more shot.
Thomas, the touch pass, and Camby, the reverse jam.
Camby's running a little bit more fluidly right now, but with Thomas creating, as best answers right back.
Game clock will be reset to 2.9 seconds.
Putting some time back on the clock, apparently, after Travis Best answered the shot. Mike Mathis said make it 2.9, and it is. Childs, a midcourt. Oh, that nearly went in. Well, Kurt Thomas and the Knicks had a 17-point lead at halftime. They've gotten a lot of production off their bench, have the Knicks, 17 points. But Indiana outscored New York 25-16 during that third quarter. New York going down, outscored 25-16 in the third, but still leading 73-65 as we start the fourth quarter. Latrell Sprewell playing with a broken foot, did not score in the third, and has 9 points in the game.
And a disturbing trend that took place in games 1 and 2, where Latrell Sprewell did not make a single basket in the fourth quarter. He came alive in yesterday or the last game's fourth quarter. Now we'll see what happens today. They're going to need a lot of points from Latrell Sprewell to hold off the surging Indiana Pacers.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy told his guys that they stop working, and they're going to have to go back to work. Nice block, Kurt Thomas.
Kurt Thomas got a piece of the shot by Dale Davis, who wanted a foul call, no whistle. And New York has it with that 8-point lead.
You know, the reflection in the score is also reflected in the percentage. Huge play, Camby.
But then short on the follow. And out of bounds to Indiana.
Camby would learn from Dudley. Get that rebound and get it back out to somebody who's got a breath of oxygen in his blood.
Let's go to Jim Gray.
Well, Tom Snap, you're exactly right. Jeff Van Gundy said, hey, guys, this isn't half a game. The game wasn't over at the half. You have stopped working. Don't quit working now. The game is in the fourth quarter. Put that third quarter behind us and come get that work ethic that you had in the first half. Let's get some easy baskets. Tom?
All right, Jim, thank you. As Travis Best up against the shot clock, misses a long three. Crozier battling, but finally loses the battle to Allen Houston.
It is a natural tendency whenever you have a big lead to let down, and you have to fight that, and that's what Van Gundy's trying to get his guys to do, and keep moving the ball. Don't stand around. You're going to get a 3-second violation.
A nightmare possession for New York. They had every advantage in the world.
Patrick Crewell sums up the New York feeling as he hides his head and wonders if New York can hold on. The superb first half. In the second half already, they've turned it over 7 times to 2 for Indiana.
And Jeff Van Gundy coming quickly back with Larry Johnson as Reggie Miller cuts the deficit to now 6.
You're good at math, I thought.
It was taking him a little while. He's used to seeing double digits up there, but the Pacers have at least worked themselves back in the game, and now the Knicks have to fight their way back to get control. Houston.
It's all stand around now for New York. Not when they're at their best.
Allen Houston can't hit. Rammed in by Thomas, but it does not count. Loose ball foul on Kurt Thomas.
Van Gundy can live with that. You get 6 fouls, you use them all, getting to the offensive glass and trying to knock down shots. There was no foul up top. Must have hit him with his body, with his hips, hooked him to get the advantage.
Sam Perkins in for Indiana. Childs knocked down in the cuts. Scrambles back to his feet. Here's Rose. Ball away over Johnson. Goes glass and blows a kiss to the crowd. 14 points. And 11 of those coming in the second half.
Well, that's what Jalen Rose adds to this team. Somebody who can get their own shot off the dribble. That's Sprewell. That's his game and has been since he joined the league.
Pivoting his way to the hoop, he gets his 11 points.
But the Indiana Pacers have offense at every position. Travis Best had that one slapped away.
Canby blocked the best shot, but then it's knocked out of bounds by New York. It'll be Indiana's ball when we return.
What Reggie Miller does is get that quick first step. Those are dribbles, Bill, and that's 2 points.
Jalen Rose comes right back and shows how you create here. Says, hey, I can't go straight in, I'm going glass. And then with Sprewell, the response, what championship teams need. How are you going to come back?
You're watching the NBA on NBC. Pacers cut the deficit to only 6. At one time they trailed by 17.
With Marcus Camby and Kurt Thomas anchoring the defense, taking Ewing's spot. Full 24 on the shot clock here. Camby's got 3 blocks, 5 points, 5 boards. Thomas 12 points, 2 blocks, 3 assists.
Yeah, but the Indiana Pacers are now going with their big guns. Miller, Best, Jalen Rose, who's 6 of 8. Sam Perkins and Austin Crozier.
Miller missing a wide open 3 with Allen Houston out of the game. Latrell Sprewell trying to defend Miller and got caught on a Crozier pick, but Miller couldn't convert.
Jalen Rose, that's a tough matchup for him against Larry Johnson. Perkins pokes it away.
Out of bounds. Knicks will get it back with 3 to shoot.
Knicks took a lot of time on that possession to come up with nothing, so they've got to get a shot away quickly here, and Indiana's going to be pressuring this one to come up from the outside.
Beautiful back cut.
Right to Thomas. Childs spotted Thomas diving to the rim, and he gets his 14th point.
Chris Childs, like Charlie Ward, is terrific at these inbound passes. They just go, they see right through the defensive pressure on the ball.
Jalen Rose. Boy, the Indiana Pacers are setting some solid screens. Rose came off one wide open and gets 16 points in the game. And again, coming alive in the second half. He has 13 in the second half.
When was the last time the Knicks attacked early in the shot clock?
Sprewell. Travis Best, easy board.
Well, Van Gundy was trying to get his team to get back into that push. Rose.
Jalen Rose again taunts the crowd, and no question here at the Garden, the fourth quarter has been Rose's time to bloom. 18 points. He started the game 0 for 5. He's hit 8 of his last 10 shots, and Jalen Rose has brought Indiana to within 4. Game 4, Memorial Day at the Garden, has brought the celebrities out to witness the Knicks and the Pacers. Chris Rock, Kevin Bacon sitting about 5 feet away from us, Billy Baldwin, and of course it's always celebrity time when the Knicks play, especially when they meet their arch rivals, the Indiana Pacers. In fact, we've seen Jalen Rose get into it with some of the courtside fans here the last few possessions, blowing a kiss after making a tough shot. And David Stern, the NBA commissioner, also on hand to see game 4. And Jeff Van Gundy's dad, Bill, continues to ask for divine intervention to have the Knicks hold off the surging Pacers.
And that was Jeff's wife on the left side of the screen with the kids. But what the Knicks need now is some enthusiasm, a new approach, a fresh game here. They're coming out just hanging on.
Well, they can't play tight. They can't play tentative. They've got to continue to be aggressive. And they got to remember also that when they surged to within 2 in Indiana, Indiana came back and put them away convincingly. Miss Allen Houston.
Nobody's even close right now as the Pacer defense has really tightened up.
And Camby wipes out Austin Crozier, committing a loose ball foul.
The difference in the shots, layups in the first half, 68%, and as the percentages come down, more jump shots for the New York Knicks in the second half.
Jump shots, I don't buy that at all. It's off the dribble right now. Everybody's dribbling for their own shot as opposed to trying to set somebody else up with the dribble.
And the Indiana Pacers, to their credit, never panicked. They got that fire lit under them by Larry Bird at halftime, and they've come alive. Block of Jalen Rose, shot by Camby, who parks it down.
But what a move by Jalen Rose, who's showing us new things virtually possession by possession.
And a steal there, the quick hands of Rose. 3-on-2 break for the Pacers. Miller spotted for 3. It's good.
It's hard to believe that's not a foul right there as Reggie Miller jumps up into Spike Lee's face.
Well, it's the big two right now that are putting a hurt on the New York Knicks, and it's a one-point ball game. So it's Allen Houston and Sprewell that are going to have to step up in the closing 6 minutes of play.
Kurt Thomas blocked by Crozier, saved by Camby. Johnson for three.
He saves them time and time again, Larry Johnson.
22 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Here's a block by Houston, but Best gets it back. Houston blocked Miller's shot. Best was all alone.
10 on the clock.
Miller over Houston for three. Short to Larry Johnson. 8 rebounds for LJ.
All season long, we've talked about it being Houston and Sprewell. Right now, we're seeing Miller and Rose taking it away from him.
Camby. Rebounded by Perkins.
Well, it's just about time for Van Gundy to put Charlie Ward back in the game. He's a guy that's been able to keep him energized, and he's on the bench.
He's sitting on the scorer's table trying to get in.
He's been waiting at the scorer's table for quite a while, along with Latrell Sprewell.
Great defense, Allen Houston. Successive plays for the Knicks.
Now they want Larry Johnson on the other side of the floor. They want the ball in his hands, and they go to Kurt Thomas.
And he delivers. Kurt Thomas, 16 points off the New York bench, and Indiana calls a timeout.
Look at Kurt Thomas celebrate. He's having the time of his life. Give me some minutes.
It's a long way from celebration.
The jab step, forcing Sam Perkins back, has to honor that threat of a drive, and Patrick Ewing supporting from the bench.
The Van Gundy family, too, celebrates New York 5 straight points since Miller cut it to 1. By 6, they've gotten a huge performance off the bench from Kurt Thomas, whose last shot put the margin to 6, hitting the jump shot, and then the Garden crowd reacting. And Jeff Van Gundy told us that this is the time of the game when that home crowd can really lift the team.
I think if we're in the game in the last 4 or 5 minutes, I think home court is an advantage. I really do. I think the crowd at that point can help you, pull you with them. But you have to play well. You have to be able to sustain your play over the first, 42, 43 minutes to even get to that point. Because I don't think home court for an entire game has any impact. But late in the game, I really believe it does.
And so far, between these two teams, home court has been vitally important. This is the 8th time they played this season, regular season and playoffs. The home team has won the first 7.
And if the Knicks want to hold on a winner, they're going to have to slow down Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose, who have all 11 Pacer points in the quarter.
Sprewell and Charlie Ward back in the ball game, and Rose trying to dance in.
Can't hit the jump hook. Houston scrambles for it and wades in to get it.
At the outset, we talked about who was going to be the first to loose balls. Larry Bird mentioned it. That was the difference at the start of the third quarter in Game 3. Allen Houston, 3 times in this fourth quarter, has been there.
Charlie Ward wants to drive.
Finds LJ, spotted for 3.
Penetration and dish. Charlie Ward. They waited so long for him to get back in. Immediately pays dividends. The quick hitting attack answered by Smits.
Jalen Rose spotting Smits for the throwdown. Rose again having a brilliant fourth quarter, scoring and passing. Larry Johnson, 25 points on 5 3-pointers and 7 rebounds. He's hit 10 of his 16 shots in the game.
Somebody's got to come help Sprewell here. He's lost.
Shoots over Rose, not a good shot. Short, saved by Camby.
Now that is Marcus Camby from a year ago, coming up with the loose balls, kicking it back out. And when you talk about the crowd, they're alive right now.
And they learned, Camby and Thomas, they've learned from Chris Dudley.
Ward for 3. Rebounded by Davis.
Jalen Rose has got 17 points the last 20 minutes. He's the guy they need to come to.
Trying to go to Rick Smith.
Canby's too quick. They can't get Rick the ball.
He's open now, but they don't see him. Instead, it's Miller with 5 to shoot. Puts it up, no good. And then does one of those patented Reggie Miller fly every which way, and it results in a New York foul.
Wait a second. They're lucky they don't send the district attorney in here to file charges.
The DA? You think he got pushed?
Oh, did you see him go flying through the air? You can't do that on purpose.
And right now, Jalen Rose is the most dangerous player out on the floor, and the Knicks are trying to double up on him, and they get a deflection. 14 on the clock for Indiana. Kurt Thomas is going to get back in the game, and Marcus Camby, who's done such a good job of energizing the team, getting the loose ball, making the blocks, is going to get a quick breather.
But Van Gundy has done a good job of not leaving Marcus out there when he's tired. That's when you get hurt. Sprewell just got 2 points here in the fourth, only taking 2 shots, making 1.
Now Kurt Thomas is bruising. Rick Smith's knocking him around.
Rose shooting from outside. Dale Davis with a putback. Davis again off the offensive glass. He's in double figures.
5-point game.
An eternity of time.
Davis another double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds.
Now the guy who got to get in the game offensively is Houston. He has not been able to get his hands on the ball. They've been coming to Sprewell, but Spree's had a tough time.
Larry Johnson passed up the 3. Ward will take it. And hit.
They finally close out on Larry Johnson. That leaves Charlie Ward wide open. And whose idea was that to feature him in the pregame show?
He's hit 4 of 6 from the 3-point arc. And Charlie Ward strikes again. Knicks by yards measure due to the play of LJ. Larry Johnson. Everybody's making the LJ sign these days, even the youth of America.
Indiana trying to catch up right now. The 3-point shooting has been spectacular for New York. The Indiana Pacers are the best by the numbers at shooting threes during the regular season. Absolutely the #1 team. And today they're 7 for 17, which is a very good percentage of 41. The Knicks are at 71. Scorching.
And Larry Johnson's 5 for 5.
No, what the Indiana Pacers have to do is get some quick field goals. So that means they're going to be going to Miller and Jalen Rose. They don't want to eat up a lot of time.
Charlie Ward.
Ward intercepting the pass for Smits, and then is knocked out of bounds for his effort. And Smits is charged with a foul.
A problem that the Pacers are going to have trying to catch up here, as Charlie Ward is again quick to the ball. That's what wins ball games. The Pacers now only have 1 team foul. So they can't get the balls to be stopped and have the Knicks take free throws because they're not near close to being in the penalty.
A little confusion right here, and they get Rick Smith over the body, and that's going to get Kurt Thomas to the free throw line.
That's not a bad foul, though. No, because that's the first foul in the last 2 minutes. Now they can get him to the free throw line.
Well, if there were any doubters remaining about Charlie Ward's belonging in the NBA, they've been erased in this playoff run. Smith with a steal as Sprewell tried to dribble by him.
But the fact that Sprewell and Houston have done relatively nothing here in the fourth, that's an offensive. Kurt Thomas standing tall in the face of adversity.
Thomas just holding his ground, and Smith knocked him over. He's got 4 fouls now. Smith with just 1 rebound in this game.
Well, 1 more basket will do it for the New York Knicks, and so this is a big possession for them right here. Travis best foul.
Now you're sending Charlie Ward to the line here. Larry Bird, who's been sitting quietly all day. Rick Smith's really working the officials.
Well, once again, the resilience of the Knicks comes to the fore with all their injuries. Charlie Ward and Larry Johnson and Kurt Thomas have carried the day for New York. And once again, Sprewell playing with a broken bone in his foot. Only 2 points in the fourth quarter, 11 in the game. Allen Houston has not scored in the fourth and has 15 in the game.
And both of those guys put in long minutes in this ball game. Charlie Ward misses them both.
Indiana down 8. And you know how quickly Reggie Miller can score.
Well, they're chasing him. They'd rather give up 2 than give up a quick 3. Travis Best.
And a foul call, no basket.
This is a tough call against Kurt Thomas here. He had the front position, and Rick Spitz kept rooting him out, pushing him off his defensive spot, and pushed Kurt Thomas in to the contact foul against Travis Best.
Look at all these Knicks fans. They want this clock to run, and so they don't want to see any more fouls against their team. Miller, nice move.
Lays it in as he spun away from Allen Houston, and Best goes for the steal, nearly got it. Reggie Miller now with 24 points. He leads Indiana as we come to the 1-minute mark. And the Pacers down by 6.
How big were those missed free throws by Charlie Ward?
7 on the clock for Houston. Got to go.
Picked up by Best on the switch. Shoots over it and scores.
Never let a man go to his strength when he's in trouble.
40 seconds remaining. Best is fouled by Ward. 2 of them tumble to the court.
It was nice of Travis Best to catch Charlie Ward and make sure he didn't get injured. That's the way that Latrell Sprewell got hurt at the end of the ball game. Jalen Rose fell on his foot.
40.7 seconds left in game 4. New York trying to hold on to even the series at 2 ends apiece. It's 90-82 as Travis Best cuts the lead by 1. And New York takes a timeout. Knicks trying to hold on, leading by 7. The NBA on NBC. 0.7 seconds left. You see the timeout situation. And we're at the free throw line with Travis Best attempting his second free throw. Made the first before the New York timeout.
Jeff Van Gundy told his guys, look, you want to use 24 in this possession and don't make a mistake with the basketball. Everybody trying to get a body in between themselves and a bucket. Travis Best, he gets both.
You have to get the ball to your key guys early in the shot clock here. Now, can Sprewell get it up? He gives it off to Charlie Ward.
New York with the ball up 6. The shot clock at 14. Game clock just past 30.
If you're the Indiana Pacers, you got to try to put some pressure on them. You can't let them use all the time, because when you get it back, you got to have a 6 or 7 point play.
Hesitation.
Ward, that's a long 2 and no good. McKee, quick outlet to Miller. He wanted to pull up for the 3, but Sprewell and Ward were both there. 10 seconds left.
Oh, you got to shoot threes here.
Best for 3, got it. 6.4 seconds remaining. It's a 3-point game.
Same situation as the last time, and now they got to get the ball inbound. Sprewell.
It's in
Run it,
Sprewell.
throw it.
They got to foul him, and they do with 4.1 seconds.
Sprewell, normally a great free throw shooter at the end of game. He's playing with a sore foot.
You know, Van Gundy is claiming that Travis Best's foot was on the line and he shouldn't get the 3. He's kicking things over there, and the officials tell him, no, Jim, simmer down.
Sprewell has hit 1 of 2 at the line. That was way back in the first quarter. In the regular season, hit 86%.
When you're playing with a broken foot, though, you're thinking about your foot all the time.
Well,
that's where your shot comes from. Is the foot on the line? It's going to be his left foot clearly on the line. Should have been a 2-pointer.
New York has missed all 3 free throws in this quarter.
Oh, they jumped in too soon.
Jalen Rose jumped in too soon.
They're not going to call that?
Yes, they did call that. So Jalen Rose, and there was a miss by Sprewell, so Rose cost them the possession.
That's also called intimidation of the shooter.
Yeah.
Are they going to give him 2 here?
He could have blocked it, probably.
They can't give him 2 shots.
Just one shot.
You're making up rules now.
This is New York.
I know you're getting carried away. Sprewell has missed both of his free throws the same way, hitting the front rim. Got to get it to clear.
And he does. Give him second life. He puts it through to give New York a 4-point lead. Is it out of range? Remember LJ last year? Will be.
Pacers come out with three-point shooters, but if you're New York, you're playing possession. You either foul the guy when he gets the ball in and get the ball back by giving him 2 free throws, or you let them have the 3 and get the ball back. But you don't foul when the guy is shooting the 3.
If New York is anywhere near any of the Pacers when they shoot the ball, it would be mind-boggling.
Miller gets the inbounds pass, launches the 3, misses. The ball tapped in at the last second as the horn sounds. It appears it will count. But the New York Knicks, playing without Patrick Ewing once again, have beaten the Indiana Pacers to even the series at 2 wins apiece. The final score 91-89. The Pacers led only once at 5-3. New York was up 17 at halftime. Reggie Miller cut the lead to only 1 with 6:48 left. But New York responded and held on to win. We'll be back.